So I'm Chelsea, and today I'm going to be talking about writing and publishing your own PyPI package. So just to get us all on the same floor here, I'm going to start out with two questions. What is a Python package, and what is PyPI? So at its core, a package is a directory of Python files that has an init.py module, therefore making it importable, either in your own computer or also through PyPI in this example. And PyPI is the unofficial but pretty official directory online of basically everything that is packages. So every time that you can install something, that's what that is. So through this example, I'm going to be using Dog Factory. So Dog Factory is it's a package that I wrote and published on PyPI that is essentially, well, it was made for this talk. And it is designed to be the most basic possible package you can make. The only things it does are print like different dog sounds depending on the size of dog. So as you can see down here, we have our file tree, and the things I want you to be paying attention to are our setup.py. The second level we have called Dog Factory and makedog.py. So setup.py is, and everything on that top level is going to be your administrative information. It's going to be your instructions to PyPI on how to interpret the data we're giving it and how to make that a package that people can install. So the inner layer of Dog Factory and both the outer and inner directories are called Dog Factory out of convention. Creates all the things that makes your package versus anybody else's package. And makedog.py, or however many modules you want to have that are called different things, they don't have to be called makedog, every single time you make any package. That's basically your Python, that's what makes your code your code. So I'm going to be going a little bit into my file system here. Not sure why that's so small. Okay, so I'm going to start with setup.py, you can see here. I'll make this a little bigger for you guys. So there are three things that are required if you want to publish it. First of all, your name, Dog Factory in this case. Second of all, your packages. That's going to be whatever your directory name is in that same level. And your version, which has to change every time you update it for it to work. The other really important thing, other than the administrative, contact stuff, is the entry point. So your console entry point right here basically dictates what you give the user ability to have. So in this case, I give the user one command, make dog. And when makedog is run, it goes to Dog Factory, the inner level, and within the module makedog, it runs the main function. So now I'm going to go in there. We can check that out. So here in makedog, we have two kind of sets of things going on. First of all, we're using argparse. So argparse is a really awesome library that basically allows you, on the most simple level, to use flags. It allows you to write flags for your package. So in this case, I'm giving the user two flags, --large and --small. So these things are also provided by argparse here. I'm adding these arguments here. So I'm saying parser.addArgument, it's going to be called large. And when you do --help, this is what it'll say. And this action here is really helpful for the developer, because what it essentially does is it stores whether or not you use this flag as a Boolean. So therefore, later on in my code, I can say, if large, then do this thing. Whereas before, it won't. It's not just inherent. Though that'd be pretty nice if it was, honestly. And down here we have, like I said, this is the most simple package you can write. It says bork_if, that's what it does. And if you're a medium-sized dog, what I guess medium-sized dogs do is say dog created. This is what happens, it's convention. So now I'm going to head back to our presentation. I was on the same level here. And so now we have our most simple possible package, and we're going to go into how you actually publish it. So publishing to PyPI. So first thing you want to do just is install it locally, run it locally, make sure it actually works. I'm not going to go over testing because I have 10 minutes. So you can do pip install dot to do that, just see how it works on your own command line. Second, I'll make a PyPI account. You can do that either online or supposedly with Python setup.py register. Though full disclosure, I had problems with that personally, and I ended up using the online version. So if you don't want to have to sign in every time, then you should create a .pyparc file in your root directory. So if you check this out, this is what that file will look like. It's not the safest thing in the world. As you can tell, it's supposed to have your unencoded password in it. So either don't use your regular password, or maybe don't use it. This is actually useful if you need to update a lot of versions right after the other, because you have to type in your password every single time. It is optional technically, but it becomes a bit of a hassle not to use it, I found, unable to use the regular register version. So next up, you actually upload to PyPI. So Python setup.py sdist upload just sends that all there. A couple quick notes. This is just general life advice, honestly. Advice to me: avoid deprecated tutorials. This is, again, a Python thing, a coding thing, a life thing. But with PyPI especially, because it's actually on its way transitioning out, Warehouse, which is currently being developed and will soon be kind of replacing what we currently know as PyPI. Because of that, there's a lot of older versions that'll give you a lot of incorrect information, despite the beautiful UI that you may see on their websites. It does not mean they're right. Secondly, with 3.6, I've heard, I and a lot of other people I know who have written packages have had this specific error with certificate verify failed, because 3.6 does not validate SSL connections, so you actually have to install certify, which is already actually in your computer with 3.6, but you have to run that script below. So now you have Dog Factory. Once you run that, it'll give you a 200 response, and Dog Factory will be online when you go and sign in. So believe it or not, Dog Factory is not actually the only package I've ever written. What inspired this talk is a package that me and my classmates when I was a student at Goodfellows wrote as a project called WriteMe. So WriteMe is a package that basically you run on the root level of project, and then it looks through all your files and it generates a markdown README for you. So it generates it using everything from web framework specific installation instructions to URLs, to test files, to dependencies, to any author information it can find in your Git file, etc. It's something that we wrote as a project, partially out of laziness and partially out of desire to give back and have a cool project. And so you guys should check it out. It's my little plug there. So thank you guys very much for your time. Any questions?
Testing.
Yeah?
When does your license expire?
So you don't actually need to sign up for a license really to use PyPI. It's open source, so you just sign on and make an account, and it'll be there until hopefully a long time when PyPI totally deprecates. Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys very much.
Awesome.